When Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson walked onto the red carpet at the 82nd Venice Film Festival, jaws dropped. The man who built his career on sheer size and a body like a granite statue looked unrecognizable. Gone was the hulking mass of muscle that defined him for decades. In its place was a leaner, slimmer frame that left fans scrambling for answers. How did the most famously jacked man in Hollywood suddenly shed nearly 60 pounds? And was this really just for a role, or something much deeper? The Venice Film Festival was supposed to be about showcasing the smashing machine, Johnson's new movie with a 24. Instead, it became all about him. Fans didn't just see Dwayne Johnson, they saw a man transformed into UFC champion Mark Kerr, complete with prosthetics, a wig, and a physique that looked nothing like The Rock of Fast and Furious or Black Adam. Social media went wild. Some praised his dedication. Others wondered if something was wrong with his health. The Rock was no longer the people's champ, with bolder shoulders. He was a slimmer, almost fragile version of himself. And that's when the speculation began. Almost immediately after The Rock appeared on the Venice red carpet, whispers turned into full-blown theories. Social media timelines filled with one word: Ozempic. In the last 2 years, Hollywood has seen an explosion in so-called fat jabs, injectable drugs, originally designed for diabetes, but now used by celebrities for rapid weight loss. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, different names, same results, slimmer bodies in record time. From red carpets to reality TV stars, countless famous faces have been accused of quietly relying on these injections. So when fans saw Dwayne Johnson suddenly 60 pounds lighter, many assumed he had joined the trend. After all, this wasn't a subtle shift. This was a body that had defined his entire brand, gone almost overnight. And with celebrities from singers to CEOs admitting to taking these injections, the internet buzzed. Was The Rock next in line? But the speculation didn't stop there. Some wondered if Johnson had finally come off performance enhancers, noting his past admission as a teenager of trying steroids. Could that explain the smaller frame? Others suggested he may have used a hybrid approach, mixing diet, training, and medical help to accelerate the process. Yet experts pushed back hard. Fitness trainer Kunal Makwana argued that The Rock's daily routine made fat jabs unlikely. These drugs work by suppressing appetite, helping people eat less. But for someone like Johnson, training multiple times a day, burning thousands of calories, eating less would sabotage his ability to even function. Add in the side effects of nausea, fatigue, and stomach issues, and it would be nearly impossible to complete the punishing workouts required for the smashing machine. Still, fans weren't convinced. The speed of the transformation, combined with Hollywood's reputation for shortcuts, made the rumors hard to silence. And in an industry where almost every red carpet body is dissected for secrets, Johnson's dramatic new look was bound to attract speculation. But if not fat jabs and not steroids, then what? The answer, according to experts, was something far less glamorous and far more brutal. If there's one thing fans know about The Rock, it's that food has always been his fuel. For years, Johnson's legendary cheat meals, towers of pancakes, sushi platters the size of tables, or stacks of peanut butter sandwiches, were as famous as his biceps. But for the smashing machine, all of that was stripped away. What replaced it was something almost military in its precision. Experts believe his transformation started with a total reset in the kitchen. Every single bite was measured, every calorie tracked. Forget spontaneity. This was discipline at its most unforgiving. According to trainer Kunal Makwana, a physique like Johnson's couldn't lose 60 pounds by accident. It required an incredibly disciplined approach. That meant 6 small meals a day, all designed to keep him in a calorie deficit while protecting the muscle he'd spent decades building. So what did that look like? Lean protein was the centerpiece. Chicken, fish, turkey, egg whites. Carbohydrates weren't banned, but they were tightly controlled. Rice, oatmeal, and sweet potatoes in carefully weighed portions, just enough to fuel the next workout without storing extra fat. Vegetables rounded out each plate, providing fiber and nutrients while keeping calories low. What wasn't on the menu? Practically everything else. No processed foods, no late-night snacks, no sugar-packed sauces or desserts. And those viral cheat meals that used to rack up millions of likes on Instagram? Completely gone. This wasn't about eating to please the tongue, as Johnson himself once put it. It was about eating to serve a single goal, shrinking his frame while still looking like an athlete on camera. And make no mistake, this wasn't a lifestyle most people could copy. For everyday people, safe weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds a week. By that math, 60 pounds could take more than a year. But Johnson had an army behind him: personal chefs, dietitians, trainers. With that kind of support system, experts believe he compressed the timeline drastically. Instead of a year, he may have dropped the weight in half the time, possibly even faster. Still, the trade-off was brutal. No just one bite, no flexibility. Every calorie had to serve a purpose. And when you combine that with training multiple hours a day, The Rock's new look becomes less about shortcuts and more about sheer willpower. And that's exactly what set up the next piece of the puzzle: training. Like he was preparing for war. If the diet was extreme, the training was even more relentless. Johnson has always been famous for marathon gym sessions, but this transformation demanded more. Multiple workouts a day, early morning cardio, high-intensity interval training that mimicked the demands of mixed martial arts combat. And of course, weightlifting designed not to bulk up, but to preserve muscle while the fat melted away. Experts compared his regimen to that of an Olympic athlete, not a Hollywood actor. To embody Mark Kerr, Johnson wasn't just sculpting his body, he was training as if he were stepping into the octagon himself. Still, fans couldn't stop asking, how long did this actually take? Here's where things get messy. Some experts believe the transformation took at least 6 months, maybe longer. They argue that trying to lose 60 pounds faster would risk muscle loss, long-term health problems, or even injury. But others disagree. Celebrity trainers Jill Charton and Katie Boyd insist that with relentless discipline, it could have been done in just 12 weeks, 3 months to strip away a lifetime of muscle mass and size. If true, that would put Johnson's transformation among the most extreme Hollywood has ever seen. So, was this a carefully paced reinvention? Or did The Rock push his body past its natural limits to achieve it? This wasn't Johnson's first brush with drastic physical change. For years, he battled gut issues caused by rounds of antibiotics that damaged his intestinal lining. In 2025, he revealed on Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast that he spent months rehabbing his digestive health with probiotics, plant-based compounds, and a total reset of his internal system. He's also dealt with surgeries and old wrestling injuries. The reason his abs don't look perfect isn't lack of training. It's because years ago, he tore his quad, damaged his abdominal wall, and required triple hernia surgery. He calls it his 5.5 pack. Behind the flawless image of Hollywood's most bankable action star is a body that has been tested, broken, and rebuilt more times than fans realize. Amid all the chatter, the speculation about fat jabs, the expert breakdowns of his diet and training, The Rock himself kept things simple. He didn't dive into calorie counts or confirm how much weight he lost. Instead, he focused on the why. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter during the Venice Film Festival, Johnson admitted this transformation wasn't just for shock value. It was about pushing himself into new territory. There was a voice inside of me that said, I want to do more. What does that look like? Those words hit differently coming from a man who has already done it all. WWE champion, Hollywood's highest-paid actor, global icon. Yet here he was, 53 years old, searching for growth. Not financial growth, not fame, but personal and artistic growth. On Instagram, Johnson shared glimpses into that mindset. Back in May 2024, as he was deep into training, he confessed that combat sports were a whole new world for him. This wasn't about lifting heavy weights in his private Iron Paradise gym anymore. This was about stepping into the mindset of a fighter, learning new drills, exhausting new muscles, and embracing discomfort. I've been working my A off. This is truly a team effort, he wrote, reminding fans that behind every transformation, even one as disciplined as his, there's a network of experts, coaches, and friends helping him through. Director Benny Safdie, who pushed Johnson to fully embody Mark Kerr, even asked him to get bigger and puffier in certain areas to capture Kerr's unique silhouette. Instead of resisting, Johnson leaned into it, joking that at his 5th level of life, when Safdie makes a request, his answer is simple. Okay, I'll try it. That humility, especially from a star as powerful as Johnson, showed just how much he trusted the process. And yet, there's an undercurrent in everything he said: hunger. A restless drive that doesn't fade, even after decades at the top. I had been very fortunate to have the career that I've had, but there was just a little voice that kept saying, I could do more, he admitted. For The Rock, The Smashing Machine wasn't just another action movie. It was a chance to break free from the superhero molds and blockbuster stereotypes, to prove that at 53, he could still surprise the world, not with his size, but with his range. And perhaps that's what makes this transformation his most powerful yet. It wasn't about impressing fans with a bigger body, but challenging himself to risk everything he'd built his brand on for something deeper. Of course, this is the same man who once posted cheat meals stacked with pancakes, peanut butter sandwiches, and sushi platters that could feed a family. Fans loved those glimpses into his larger-than-life indulgences. But for the Smashing Machine, there were no cheat days, no rock pancakes, no viral plates of peanut butter sandwiches, just strict discipline, day after day. The contrast between his old routine and this new regimen only amplified the shock of his transformation. So what does this all mean? At 53, Dwayne Johnson reinvented himself once again, not as the unstoppable muscle machine we've known for decades, but as an actor willing to sacrifice the very thing that defined him, his size, to bring authenticity to a role. Is this his boldest gamble yet? Could the Smashing Machine mark the turning point of his career, proving he's more than Hollywood's biggest action figure? Or will fans struggle to accept a slimmer Rock on the big screen? One thing's for sure, if The Rock can strip down the body that made him a global icon, it leaves us wondering, what transformation will he take on next?